Time bleeds secrets that no one dares to name. Some pulses go unnoticed. Others shape empires without their creators realizing it. Most walk submissively, believing that time is a line, straight, inflexible, indifferent. But those who know never chased time. Thoth did not measure minutes. He listened to the invisible intervals between one moment and another. It was in these gaps, where the world slows down unnoticed, that he deposited the codes of eternity. You feel it. Even without explaining, you have already noticed. Not every clock marks what is real. There are rhythms that cross calendars, silent and sovereign. The time that enslaves us is a dissonant echo. But there is another time, the time that responds to presence. It is with it that destinies are drawn. Today, you will understand what Thoth knew, and you will learn how to align your vibration with the cycles that time itself obeys. Because time does not pass. Time responds. We live under the illusion that life happens in a straight line. We wake up, we run, we plan. But the feeling remains. Something escapes. It is not for lack of effort. It is disconnection. When the inner pulse disconnects from the greater cadence, everything seems to slip through our fingers. Projects, moments, even ourselves. Machines count the hours. Appointments count the days. But what really matters is rarely counted. Inside each of us, there is a forgotten compass. A pulse that does not obey clocks. It does not hasten. It guides. Thoth understood this difference. He did not organize the day to accomplish tasks. He harmonized consciousness with the invisible rhythm that sustains existence. This silent disorder that so many feel today, this sense of internal stampede, does not come from outside. It is the symptom of having lost contact with what orders life from the inside out. Today, you will not receive more rules. You will rediscover paths. Because reconnecting to the original compass is not about adding effort. It is about removing distortion. And when that happens, the hours do not shrink. They expand. You feel the weight, the list that never ends, the feeling of always falling short, that something important escapes, even on the most productive days. What is sold as normality is, in fact, the adaptation to a distortion. We were trained to measure life by timed productivity, forgetting that the real compass is not made of clocks, but of states of presence. And the more we try to accelerate, the more internal disorder amplifies. We sleep exhausted, we wake up late, we live busy, but rarely fulfilled. What Thoth knew, and so many have forgotten, is that there are secret rhythms governing the human experience. Rhythms that cannot be mastered by blind discipline. Rhythms that must be listened to for life to realign itself again. Ignoring these cycles is like rowing against an invisible current. You spend everything and get nowhere. But there is a key, a simple gesture, forgotten in the corridors of ancient time, conscious realignment. It is not about doing more. It is about doing in the correct flow. The difference between living dragged along and living in creation is not in the force you apply, but in the frequency you sustain. This is what changes the feeling of heaviness into lightness, of delay into synchronicity, of disorder into expansion. And this is what begins to reveal itself when you truly learn to listen. Owen always thought the problem was a lack of organization. A full schedule, reminders everywhere, promises that this time it would work. But no matter how much he planned at the end of the day, the feeling was always the same. Delay, disorder, exhaustion. It was on a silent night, looking at the sky, that Owen had the first intuition. Maybe the problem was not in the tasks. Maybe it was in the rhythm. Days later, by a coincidence that seemed to have been drawn on another plane, he came across the concept of the 28 daily checkpoints, small moments of vibrational realignment throughout the day. Inspired by the lunar cycles and the ancient principles attributed to Thoth, it was not about doing more. It was about remembering the lost compass. Owen started. At each checkpoint, a moment of silence, a conscious breath, a small gesture of presence. At first, it seemed useless, but without realizing it, time began to change. The hours became more malleable, the decisions clearer. The feeling of always running disappeared. He had not found a new productivity method. He had rediscovered the invisible thread that stitches the moment to purpose. And for the first time in years, Owen did not feel that the day consumed him. He felt that he inhabited the day. The cycle of 28 daily points was not created to measure time. It was inspired by the rhythms that shaped life long before the invention of clocks. Natural rhythms like the phases of the moon, the pulse of the tides, the heartbeat of the earth. The ancients knew where there is rhythm, there is consciousness, and where there is consciousness, there is creation. Thoth, attributed as master of time and cycles, understood that real time is not linear. It bends, it expands, or it contracts according to the vibration of the one who experiences it. That is why his hidden writings did not speak only of calendars, but of alignments. The concept of the 28 checkpoints is a modern reinterpretation of this principle. It is not about complex rituals. It is about marking small portals throughout the day where you stop and tune in. It can be a conscious breath upon waking up, an aligned thought before responding to an email, a moment of silence before eating, a gesture of gratitude before lying down. Each checkpoint is a vibrational anchor, each pause a silent reconnection with the original compass. In the lunar calendar, 28 days represent a complete cycle of renewal. In the practice of the 28 daily checkpoints, each gesture represents a microcycle of realignment. Modern science echoes this ancient knowledge. Studies on ultradian rhythms show that the body and mind function better in natural cycles of concentration and rest, usually lasting 90 minutes, but ignored by everyday rush. By respecting these invisible portals, life reorganizes itself, not through excessive control, but through the precision of presence. The time that seemed to escape actually offers itself, no longer as an enemy, but as fertile territory for those who dare to listen to the pulse that creates. Owen discovered, in practice, what the hidden scribes already knew. The secret was not to add tasks, it was to plant portals. Each checkpoint he performed during the day was not just a pause, it was a silent recalibration, a reunion with the compass that sustains all manifestations. He did not change the amount of his actions. He changed the state in which each action happened, and that changed everything. Because time, after all, is not something that runs outside. Time is drawn within and then reverberates into the world. The good news is that this alignment does not depend on complex mysticism. It is built in small but conscious gestures, in moments when you interrupt the noise and rescue the original pulse. For those who wish to apply this, we have listed, in the description of this video, the 28 points of realignment, inspired by the lunar cycles and the Hermetic teachings about internal flow. Each point is an opportunity to stop being pushed by the days and start sculpting your journey with vibrational precision. What Thoth taught, what Owen felt, what is now accessible to you, is simple. Those who learn to honor the small cycles conquer the great destinies. Time does not bend to force. It bows to presence. Long before the Gregorian calendars fragmented the year into uneven months, There was another logic, the lunar calendar of 28 days, the natural cycle, observed by ancestral civilizations and attributed to the symbolic intelligence of Thoth. For the ancient Egyptians, time was a dance between invisible forces. Thoth, as master of time and cycles, would have created a calendar of 360 days based on celestial cycles, plus 5 days outside of time, dedicated to spiritual realignment. This structure vibrated in harmony with the rhythms of the earth, the body, and the mind. Modern science is beginning to recognize what the ancients intuited. Research on circadian rhythms, 24-hour cycles, and ultradian rhythms, cycles of 90 to 120 minutes, shows that the human body operates better in natural fluctuations of attention, energy, and recovery, and that forcing an artificial constancy generates stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. When the inner pulse respects these cycles, states of high performance, expansive creativity, and emotional clarity emerge. When we ignore them, disconnection sets in. Studies conducted by Harvard Medical School and the Institute of Biological Sciences of Snow, Palo indicate that small conscious pauses throughout the day, aligned with natural intervals of attention, result in increased productivity, reduced anxiety, and improved cognitive health in the long term. These pauses are not luxuries. They are biological needs that echo ancestral truths. The concept of the 28 daily points proposes exactly this, not to overload the schedule, but to weave invisible moments that, when combined, realign the internal flow. Each checkpoint is like a harmonic chord within your own daily symphony. Thoth knew that time is not governed by force. It is governed by vibrating at the right tempo. And today, by applying these intentional pauses, you not only organize the mind, you reconstruct the quality of the very field that shapes your results. Because while most chase after time, those who know the ancient cycles walk within it. What has been shared here is not a theory to be admired. It is a code to be lived. Small pauses, small adjustments of presence, micro choices that, day after day, weave a new internal architecture, capable of altering not only your relationship with time, but your place within it. Thoth did not record cycles to control existence. He pointed out portals so that existence could be consciously recreated. You now have access to this. The 28 points listed in the description of this video are not rules. They are anchors, silent bridges that, if crossed, restore lost harmony. The philosopher Henry David Thoreau wrote, "What matters is not how much you lived, but how vibrant each instant you touched was. It is not the number of days, it is the density of your presence in each dawn." Time was never your enemy. It has always awaited the moment when you would remember who commands the tempo. Those who walk to the hidden rhythm do not chase the future, they expand destinies. This was the third episode of the series Arcanus of Thoth, The Writings of Eternity. In the description, you will find the checklist with the 28 realignment points to apply in your daily life. If this content resonated with you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications. Write in the comments, "I realign myself to the hidden compass to consolidate your vibrational intention." Share this episode with someone who needs to remember that time is raw material, not a chain. Click on the screen and continue your journey with another transformative video from our channel. Remember, those who align their vibration to the invisible flow do not count hours, they create eras.